Daddo.
What time is it?
Showtime.
What show?
Our show. The Ethan and Daddo Show. Hello. It's the Ethan and Daddo Show. Yay! Welcome back to the Ethan and Daddo Show. How are you doing, Daddo?
I'm doing just fine. How you doing, Ethan?
Good.
I like you starting off the show for a change.
Thank you.
How's school been going for you?
Good.
So you started baseball about a month and a half ago. How's your team doing? This is your third year playing.
Really good.
Really good? I know. I'm at the game, so I know they're doing really good, but I thought I'd officially ask. Now, you've also gotten pretty into Major League Baseball, like watching some games, collecting some baseball cards, and that kind of stuff. I'm from Massachusetts, so I'm a Red Sox fan. Your mom's from Maryland, so they're all Orioles fans, and we've kind of had a little more chance to pay attention to the Orioles, for one, because your cousins who live near you, and your friend Ryan's an Orioles fan, and we've had more chance to get to Orioles games, which has been really cool.
I think they're going to win the World Series.
You think so?
Based on how they're doing now, yeah.
Well, that would be something. The Orioles have a really fun team, a lot of young guys on the team, and Camden Yards is a really cool place to see a game, right?
I love Camden Yards. It's an amazing place.
It's so cool, and because of that, we didn't need a whole lot of excuse to take the podcast on the road once again, did we?
No.
I know in pretty much every episode, I say, Ethan, how cool is this? And then you say,
so cool.
but come on, how cool was this day that we had at Camden Yards?
So cool.
It was crazy. Ethan, you may be 7 years old, but do we run a professional operation here at the Ethan and Daddo Show?
Yeah.
Darn right we do. We are, of course, members of the media. Now, Ethan, do you remember what the media does?
Yeah, they come and they report on the Orioles. They go in the field, and it would be like journalists or people from the newspaper.
So are we part of the media?
Yes.
And were we there to report on the Orioles?
Yes.
So we needed to get ourselves some media passes. Did we get them?
Yes.
And did they have pictures of us on them? And
yes.
our names? And we had those media passes. They got us deep into Camden Yards, underneath where everyone above us was buying popcorn and cotton candy. And we're going through tunnels. And we saw signs that said restricted access. And what did we do?
We walked through them.
We walked through them with our media passes because we were there on a mission. We were supposed to go to batting practice. Unfortunately, it was raining, so it got canceled. We still got to walk out in the field, though. What do you think of that?
That was so cool.
But then we had to get down to business because it wasn't all fun and games. We were there for a purpose. We were there to do an incredible interview. What did you think of the guy we talked with?
Amazing.
Now, if you want the inside word on the Baltimore Orioles, if you want to know how kids just starting out in baseball can work on their game and try to get better, you are going to want to hear what this guy had to tell us. Am I right?
Yeah.
And Ethan, as soon as you say go, we're going to play it.
Go.
You know why I think this is going to be a great interview?
Why?
Listen to what the guy sitting right here told a newspaper 10 years ago. He said, "You have to be all in no matter what you do. I've never done anything half-hearted in my life." Do you think that includes podcasts?
Yeah.
Does that include podcasts? Are you going to go all in for the Ethan and Daddo Show?
Without a doubt.
All right. We ready?
Yeah.
Let's introduce him. Our guest was drafted out of Vanderbilt by the Pittsburgh Pirates and played 6 years in the minors before becoming a coach and a manager for a number of minor league teams. He's now in his fourth year as the third base coach and infield instructor for the
Orioles.
That's right. Welcome to the show, Tony Mansolino.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys, man. I'm excited to be here. When I heard you guys were coming, I definitely circled it on my calendar, and pretty pumped to spend some time with you guys.
So how are you at Tony Mansolino trivia?
I don't know. My mom might be a little bit better, but she's not here, so I'll have to do the best.
We're gonna start with the trivia question, right, buddy? You wear number 36 for the Orioles, but between playing and coaching, you've been on a lot of teams, you've had a lot of numbers. So Ethan is going to read 5 numbers. You have to guess which of these numbers you've never worn. Right. Okay, ready?
38, 6, 31, 13, 17.
I don't think I've wore 31 and 17.
You are incorrect. So
Incorrect.
You wore number 31 as a player for the Lynchburg Hillcats.
Okay, that's a long time ago.
17 was made up,
Okay,
Yeah.
but close.
but not bad. The others are all correct. I couldn't find your Cape Cod League number.
That would be, you'd be digging pretty deep for that.
So I guess we should start with the latest Orioles news. Ethan, I came in the house last night, and you ran up to me, and what'd you say?
They sent Holiday back to minor league.
They did. So obviously, a lot of people are excited about Jackson Holiday. You've worked really closely with him. So what do we want to know, buddy? What's going on there? What does he need to work on? What's the deal? Is he we can see him back up here soon?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's one of those situations where when he got here, the major league game probably gave him a couple things he needed to work on. So I think he's going to take those couple things and go back to Norfolk and work on them. And I certainly foresee a scenario where he's back here a lot quicker than we all would imagine. So he's kind of a generational player, a generational talent, and I think we'll see exactly that here in Baltimore sooner than later.
Ethan has a question that his cousin Griffin asked us to bring up to you. Go ahead, buddy.
What's Holiday's phone number?
I don't know that one. I think he's probably got a very private phone number, to be honest with you. But yeah.
Sorry, buddy. We tried. So this is a very young team. I should say you're on a very young team, Ethan. How old are you? Tell everyone who doesn't know.
7.
But this is a very young team. It might seem old to you, but for baseball, this is a really young team. Ethan, as we know, Tony works with all the infielders, and there's a really exciting young player named, who's one of your favorites, Gunnar.
Gunner.
So what do you like about this team, these young guys?
Yeah, the youth. Youth is exciting. I think with youth comes a lot of fun on a daily basis. There's going to be great play on the field. There's going to be struggles for young players. But I think just night in, night out, they're exciting. I think the day-to-day in the clubhouse is awesome. A lot of these guys, they don't have kids. They're not married. So they don't have some of the stressors that, us with children and wives have. So there's a freeness to them on a daily basis that in this environment in the major leagues, it kind of makes you feel like you're an A-ball a little bit, which is a really fun and exciting place to be. And they're able to kind of create that environment here in the major leagues. And, young players bring youth, they bring excitement, and they're really good too.
Ethan, not many of the kids on your team have kids. Do you think that helps them as well?
No.
Ethan, we've talked a little bit about what a third base coach does, right?
Yeah.
You know a little. Tell me what you know so far.
They have to think about if they should send the players home or not.
Yeah.
And then that seems kind of stressful, right?
Yeah.
So should we find out what else? He's also an infield instructor. Should we find out what else your day looks like? What do you do all day long when you're not in the game?
Sure. And I'll go back to the third base thing. I think it is. Yeah, it stops and sends, and it's trying to help the team score runs. But I also think there's a lot more to it that people don't realize. Trying to decode the daily signs, from the manager and relay those to the players. And you're on a time clock now, so it has to happen quick. It has to be complicated and simple at the same time. So our players understand it, but the other team can't decode it. You do a lot with base running. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of the base running in practice, you help out with that. So the third base job, in my opinion, tends to be a little bit more than the stops and the sends. The other part of that, the what do I do all day? It's the infield keeps you really busy working with infielders, and you're having to work with really 4 different positions in the infield. And, on any team, you generally have 6 to 7 different infielders. When you have a lot of young ones to boot, like we just talked about, your youth, there's still a lot of development that has to go on in the major leagues. So, we tend to teach the infielders in a not too dissimilar fashion that you would in the minor leagues, where there's still development to be done. There's still things that they have to get better at on a daily basis. There's still daily review that goes on for the players. It's just not like after the game, that game's over and you won't move on the next one. We do, but we also review the previous one, so we have things that we learn from. Probably not too dissimilar from what you're doing in youth baseball, Ethan. Coaches are talking to you about things that you can get better at and ways to make different plays, and it's the same thing that we're doing here in the major leagues with this unit.
I'm not great at making decisions. Are you good at making decisions, buddy?
No.
I didn't think so. So we can't imagine. You have to make decisions so fast, and sometimes they can really make a difference in the outcome of the game.
Sure.
I don't think, Ethan, could you decide, like you and I, if we had to decide if someone should turn the corner and run home, it would be like an hour and a half later, and we'd still be thinking about it. How can you take all that information you know about all these players in your head and come up that quick with a split-second decision?
There's a lot of preparation that comes before early in the day. So one of the other things that you're doing early in the day, in addition to helping the infielders play well and improve, is you're getting ready to coach third that night. And what that entails is you're studying the outfielders. You're seeing who are good throwers, who has a big arm, who gets rid of the ball quick, who's accurate when they throw it. You know your runners. You know who's fast. You know who's slow. You know who can make a great slide to finish a play at the plate and avoid a close play. You learn about situations and probabilities and statistics to where, if you send a guy with no outs and he doesn't have a very good chance to score, it's probably not a very good send. Where if you send a guy with 2 outs and he has that same chance to score, it probably is a good send. So there's probably a lot that goes into it, and a lot of it happens before the pitch. So the pitch is thrown, you have all this information in your head, and at that point, you kind of have the rules that you're going to kind of follow during the game in the different situations with the fielders and your runners and the score, the outs, the innings, the situation of the game, and you make the best decision you can, and you really hope that the umpire goes in your favor.
Everyone wants to know about signals, right? People must ask you all the time what the different signals mean. Ethan, what do you think would be a good signal to send someone home?
Like that.
Like that?
Yeah, I like that one.
That's a good one. How do signals work? Have you ever had a signal? A manager. We've been a manager, so you've probably come up with the signals too. Have you ever seen a signal that's so silly that you didn't want to do it?
Well, I think with signs and signals, you're trying to be as simple as you can. You don't want to create confusion. I think we get paranoid in the big leagues and in any competitive sports that the other team's going to steal your signs or steal your signals. But minus having a computer at your disposal and be able to punch in some codes and things like that, it's really hard to steal those signs and steal those signals. So you have to keep it simple for the players, and you have to pay attention. If people are stealing what you have, then you make the proper adjustments if need be. But I think most of the signs and signals in the game are a product of probably the last 100 years, and they're probably recycled over and over and over with a few different nuances. But I think in the end, it's important that the players receive what you're trying to message them through your signs or signals, so they have to be simple. And it's a hard thing to do when you're in front of 50,000 people and there's a lot of stress and pressure going on. You don't want things to be complicated. You want them to be as simple and as clear as can be.
So, Ethan, this is your third year playing baseball, and there's something pretty different this year. What's different about this year, the season that just started?
We're using harder ball.
And how are you hitting this year?
No tee.
No tee. So this guy has played almost every position in baseball. He's coached almost every position or managed. Who better to give you some advice on how to switch from a tee to pitching? And maybe he can give us, do you think he'll give us the real secrets of how to base run? Not the stuff he tells everyone else, like how to really be a great base runner?
Yeah.
Well, I'll start with the hitting. So I have a couple kids. I got a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they both love baseball. We spend a lot of time working on it. And I'm probably pretty passionate about youth baseball and helping young kids get good. I think one of the things that people don't realize in youth baseball is that probably the best exercise to get good at hitting is hitting a moving ball. I think traditionally or historically, kids have grown up playing t-ball. And I think when you hit off a tee, it actually inhibits the natural skill building of making contact. So I think just the concept of having to hit a moving pitch, and I assume it's probably coach pitch, what Ethan is facing, and probably until 8 or 9 years old is what it'll be in coach pitch. But the actual skill of making contact starts in coach pitch. It starts from taking batting practice. It starts from removing the tee. So what I tell my kids, I give them money. I say, if you can hit a line drive off the pitcher, which is the coach.
Ethan's eyes just got much wider.
Poor dad, unfortunately, who's throwing. I tell my rugrats that if they can hit a line drive off the coach's knees to his toes, anywhere in there, then I'll give them $20. And I think what that does is it gives a young kid a really good approach on how to hit the ball. It keeps them from stepping out. It makes them work towards the pitcher. It keeps their head down, and it keeps them from trying to do too much. And from probably the biggest problem in hitting is trying to hit a home run. Not what we want to do. We just want to hit the ball hard and hit it through the middle of the field. So when it comes to hitting, hit as many moving balls as you can in practice. Probably remove the tee in practice. Just throw balls. In the house, find like a little soft bat, like a Disney bat, and a bunch of soft balls, and just constantly throw balls at the young ball player, and just in different parts of the strike zone, over his head, on the ground, bounce them, and just make contact with them. And that's it. And I think if you do that, you start to build the skill of making contact, which in coach pitch is the most important skill, because the kids don't necessarily play real good defense.
You look like you want to say something. I think I know which part you took out of that answer that you're going to want to talk about the whole way home. The money part?
Yeah.
$20.
We might have to edit that part out of the interview.
Yeah. Well,
No.
go ahead. And there's another part to that. I won't share on this, but you get $40 if you hit it in another part on the coach.
Oh boy, we'll have to work this out on the way home. Tony, you have work to do. You have to go work with these guys and get them ready for today's game. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much.
All right, Ethan, guys, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
What a great guy. Do you love that guy?
Yeah.
We even dug up some of his old minor league baseball cards from when he was a player, and we got him to sign them. Cool.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we hung out, went to the game, and did the Orioles win?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. So an awesome day. A big thank you to Tony Mansolino for taking time to sit down with us when he was so busy getting ready for the game. We also want to give a big thank you to Tessa from the Orioles media office for being amazing. Did she treat us like kings?
Yeah.
Tessa was awesome. So thank you so much, Tessa. And we want to leave you with our usual instructions, right?
Yeah.
Questions more than instructions, right? We're politely asking people to go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Ethan and Daddo. And what else do you want them to do?
Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Because you want to win.
The silver play button.
And we can't do it without tons and tons of subscribers. So please go ahead over to YouTube, search for Ethan and Daddo Show, or you can go to ethananddaddo.com and there's links to go over there. So just go over there, find our channel, subscribe, and in addition to posting the episode there, we're also going to post a little video of Ethan making his way around the ballpark and discovering some of the cool things to do at Camden Yards. Anything else you want to say, buddy?
I want to give a big shout out to my friend Ryan, another big Orioles fan.
What up, Ryan? That is it for the Ethan and Daddo Show. Thank you so much for listening.
And please make sure to subscribe.
You said that. You're supposed to say thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much for listening. And also make sure to subscribe.
The guy's persistent. I'll give him that. We'll leave you with some sounds from our day at Camden Yards.